How do you write a med school personal statement that is going to get you interviews? I've been helping people write personal statements for 10 years, and this is one of the biggest tips I can give you if you want your personal statement to stand out. What we are talking about here is called narrative construction. See, most people think about just random stories that they think will look good or are impressive, or that people will just read and understand why they want to be a doctor. The problem there is coherence. It's not coherent. It's just a list of random stories or random experiences. And maybe they're connected by chronology, meaning at least they happened in chronological order, but they're not necessarily connected by the logic of why it shaped the character of the author. So here's what to do instead if you really want to stand out. Think about your experiences as a narrative of growth. So instead of outlining the exact stories or outlining the exact experiences just based on when they occurred, think about what you learned and how that led you to do the things you did, and how those things taught you something else and how that led you to do the next thing. So here's what I mean by that. Let's say that you had some sort of life-changing experience that made you curious about medicine. Well, back then you didn't really know what being a doctor meant, and so you went and explored in some way. Let's say that the next thing you did was you volunteered in an emergency department. Well, in that emergency department, you learned something about connecting with people, or you learned something about socioeconomic determinants of health, or you were moved when you saw what the doctor-patient relationship can do for someone on the worst day of their life. So you share that. That's the next thing that you share. But that left you with a question. How does biomedical science evolve? Maybe. I'm just giving you an example. So that led you to do some research, and there you were able to learn skills of teamwork and answering scientific questions, yada, yada, yada. But you still wanted to learn more about such and such, so you went and shadowed. There's your next paragraph. Do you see what I'm doing here? Basically, every paragraph is a self-contained lesson about who you are, what you learned about something, how you took that lesson and grew to get to the next stage. What you did, what you learned, what you did about it, what you did, what you learned, what you did about it. As you're doing this, you're crafting this compelling narrative that shows me, rather than telling me, how you grew into the candidate you are today. You're not necessarily trying to do all of this scene building and drama. It's not about that. But you're so coherently showing me this growth mindset that it jumps off of the page, showing this ability to reflect, this coherence, this self-determination that really makes you stand out on the application. If you can pull that off, your personal statement will be on a whole nother level.